Hello and welcome to the Unwanted Opinions podcast. My name is Kyle and I'm today joined by Gonzalo.
Hey, how we doing? No Lewis this week.
No, Liz, we're all falling apart. Everybody's been
Yeah,
getting sick at weird times the last couple of weeks.
yeah.
No idea, another pandemic, who knows? I hope not, actually. I really hope not.
we'll
Um,
we'll see if I'm here next week because I'm also
well,
under the weather, as you can see.
yeah,
Just
no, I,
good
I
enough to
just
cover the
recovered.
word. Yeah.
I was still like sniffling it and coughing the
Mm.
last couple of days, but I am all here. Yes, but no Lewis today, and sadly that means he missed out on having to go see Godzilla Times Kong,
Yeah,
which we will talk about later. Because
yeah.
yes, that is
It's a
today's
big review
episode.
this time, Chris.
We're
Mm.
gonna go into the Godzilla Times Kong, the new Empire, and then also discuss the kind of Monsterverse that has been generated through these movies over the past 10 years since
Yeah.
that first Western remake of Godzilla came out in 2014. Not to be confused with the Western remake that came out in the 90s of Godzilla,
Yes.
which we don't
I
really
was
talk about.
I will say that was one of my favorite movies as a kid, and I'm very ashamed of
That's
it.
upsetting. Well, did you see?
Yes.
Oh, you'll love that. You'll love this. I know it was a cheeky
Yeah.
little April Fool's on Monday.
Mm.
And did you see what the director, or I can't remember who it
Yeah.
was, but somebody posted that the fans have answered and Speed Racer 2 is coming in 2027. And obviously it was a wee
No.
April Fool's thing, and so many people
No.
believed it.
I
And
am
I
so
was like, oh,
sad. I am
Gonzalo
so
would
sad.
absolutely cry if that was to be the case.
Actually, I would fucking love a Speed Racer show because I actually very much
I think
engage with
I
the
think they
races
would
in
do a
that.
really see if they did
Yeah,
like an anime obviously,
yeah,
because it's like that, or even do what
I
they
would
did with
love it. Like
like
animated
Scott
remake of the
Pilgrim.
original show.
Yeah,
Yeah, kind of like Call
something
Pilgrim.
like
Which,
that.
by the way,
Anyway,
loving that.
let's not
Still
get
haven't
too
finished it,
away
but damn. Yeah.
from the movie. But I want to start off with I
Yes.
have a quick review for the
You have a
Book
little
of
review. Yeah.
Clarence. I have a
Hmm.
wee review. Now obviously, if you're out with the UK, you might have
Hmm.
seen this film because it's been around since like last October in theaters. But
Yeah.
we still actually don't even have it. I went to like an unlimited screening,
Oh
um,
wow. Okay.
and
Goddamn.
I don't think it comes out on proper release until when did it say? Um,
Yeah.
does it even say actually when the original set release?
Oh wow.
Uh,
What
yeah,
the hell is up with that UK schedule thing? Because, like, see, I
I don't know.
understand, like, when we get delayed releases here in Spain, because most, like, all movies literally go through a
It's
whole
Spain.
phase of dubbing. Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's
Yeah,
Spain, we're kind of shit. But also, like,
it's Spain.
it's a third world country. But also, no, you do have that, like, whole process of translating and then redubbing movies that I
Yeah,
guess adds
but
time.
I don't.
But,
I'm guessing maybe
but
just
yeah,
distribution kind of rights
yeah.
or kind of deals.
It just seems
But
so
anyway,
counterintuitive. Yeah.
yeah. So I'll give a quick synopsis of the Book of Clarence. So the Book of
Mm,
Clarence follows. So it right. First of all, it is
mm.
directed by James Samuel, produced by Samuel and Jay Z, the
Oh,
rapper,
okay. Rapper
which you
JC.
can very much
Wow.
tell. Now,
Oh,
the
okay.
brief synopsis is that it follows a struggling down on his luck man named Clarence living in
Mm,
AD 33 Jerusalem
mm,
who looks to capitalize on the rise of a carpenter by claiming to
mm.
be a new messiah sent by God in an attempt to free himself of debt and start a life of glory for himself.
Nice.
So,
So it's like the
yeah, so the
opposite of like the life of Brian.
it has there are kind of some I say similarities. I'm
Mm.
not going to say that because there's not, but
Yeah.
it is that kind of sense that there it is in
Instead of a
that time period
reluctance.
where
Yeah.
Jesus of Nazareth is kind of in the background,
Yeah.
where it basically Clarence is so there's so much I'm going to have to kind of I'll briefly say, but
Yeah.
I went back and kind of so Clarence is played by La Kenneth Stanfield, who I'm probably pronouncing that terribly, but
Mm.
there you go. Who was in?
Yeah.
He most recently got a nomination for Judas and the Black Messiah a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah, I heard of that.
Uh huh. Really,
Yeah,
he
okay.
plays the titular Clarence, and he also actually plays Clarence's twin brother Thomas, who is one of the 12
Yeah.
apostles
Yeah.
of Christ. Which is interesting because when you look into kind of Thomas himself,
Mm.
there are interesting things about it in the religion. Now, I am not a religious person myself. I barely know anything about it.
Yeah.
So I had no idea what this film was about when I went in. I knew the rough kind
Hmm.
of period of it, and I knew it took around that kind of place.
Hmm.
But what you get is a very kind of I don't know how the best way to describe it. Kind of like a jazzy kind of like vibe taken of this kind of Jerusalem. You get amazing kind of sets. You know, it's shot on location. It looks brilliant. The costumes are fantastic. You really do feel you're in this kind of time period.
Hmm.
They cast everybody. It's great. Every actor in Jerusalem is
Hmm.
black, and it's only the Romans who are kind of white. So something that's
Hmm.
finally different from the kind of Book of
Yeah.
Life of Brian, where
Whitewashed.
everybody's just
Yeah.
white. You know,
Yeah.
and we're not seeing Jesus as a white
Granted, I'd
person.
rather they didn't do blackface for that one. So,
No, well, no,
given
it's
the
all
time
American back
period, but
actors,
yeah,
and you know,
yeah,
Jesus himself
mm,
is depicted as he would have been, you know, black
yeah,
and darker skin.
mm,
There's a hilarious thing I'm not going to spoil, but
mm.
Benedict Cumberbatch is in this film, and you don't really
Oh,
understand
okay.
why. And when you
Oh,
do, you
mm.
are crying. You are in
Oh,
tears
wow.
because of how
Oh,
funny
wow.
it is.
Oh,
A
wow.
dig at modern Christianity, which might give a wee bit of a hint away, but anyway, I'll leave it at that. So
Okay,
yes,
okay.
it's split into three chapters,
Mm,
where Clarence is basically out of his luck with a kind of dealer, kind of loan shark almost in Jerusalem, and has to kind of figure out a way to make money, and basically tries to become the 13th apostle. And when that
mm,
goes wrong, he basically goes, I'm just going to do the tricks. I'm going to do tricks like Jesus and become the new Messiah. And yeah, we basically get the story where Clarence, who's a
yeah.
non-believer and kind of really believes in knowledge, takes
Mm,
on the kind of role of this new Messiah to kind of basically swindle his way out of getting his head chopped off or crucified. And
mm.
in the process, he learns kind of a few things. 7 people walked out of this screening, Gonzalo.
Oh,
7.
oh,
Now,
okay.
there are a few scenes in this, especially in the dialogue, that I can imagine being quite upsetting to very faithful people of the faith.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe
Was
very
it
religious people, very
sold
Christian people.
was it sold
It's
as a very religious movie for
I didn't
religious
watch a
people?
trailer. This is the thing. I
Yeah.
didn't watch a
Oh,
trailer because
okay.
it's got a
Interesting.
very kind of, you know, with
Hmm.
the kind of Jay-Z influence of the producing it. It's got some really
Yeah.
great soundtrack. The soundtrack and the kind of
That's
score
good.
are amazing. They do
That's
have
good.
some random scenes where there is a kind of a weird kind of almost nightclub scene in Jerusalem
Mm,
33
mm.
AD with a kind of wee jazzy kind
Yeah.
of dance and a wee number.
That
Um,
reminds me
and
of Jesus
the
Christ
humor is kind of
Superstar.
there.
Kind of
It's a
like the
weird
weird
combination of all these
anachronism.
things because
Yeah.
it has these things of kind of like
Yeah.
um Messiah
And
of typical no not
mm,
what's the Monty
yeah.
Python we were just discussing?
Oh,
Life of
Laugh of
Brian.
Grind.
Life of
Laugh of
Brian.
Grind. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So it has these all kind of things,
Mm,
and I don't think a lot of people were very happy when they left.
mm,
But the irony is, I think if you stayed by the
mm.
end of it,
You kind of get it.
I think they would
Yeah.
have been happy with how what was
Mm,
happening, what the story was told, and it's really interesting, kind of watching it and seeing the interaction of all these characters. I'm trying to not give them too much away because
mm.
um, there are scenes. There was a scene very specifically that some people left during, and because
Yeah.
it was a very kind of it was a conversation between Clarence and somebody of known
Yeah.
that's known in the Bible. Like, you know, they said their name, and I was
Okay.
like, I know that person, and I had very limited knowledge.
You're like, oh, that's a
And
cameo. Yeah.
yeah, and there's like it's like I
Yeah.
understand that reference, and
Yeah.
they leave.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and I went in and I looked at the review before I went in, and it was very,
Mm.
very mixed. It's got like a maybe like
Oh, wow.
56 on Metacritic. And
Interesting.
I had a great
Yeah.
time. I have
Yeah.
to admit. I
Oh,
really
wow.
enjoyed the Book of Clarence. I thought every
Mm.
performance was just absolutely incredible. The production, the sound design, the score, I
Yeah.
thought was really good fun. There were some funny moments in it. Like I said,
Mm.
the
The
Benedict
Cumberbatch
Cumberbatch
one.
character
Yeah. Gonna have to watch that
got
now.
me in tears.
Yeah.
I was absolutely wetting myself when it
Yeah.
happened. I feel
Maybe
I
that's why they
feel
walked out.
you know the thing. No, the thing is, well, no, I'm
Yeah.
pretty
It's
sure that
not.
some people probably wouldn't like
Yeah.
what they were meaning by that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't know, but like I
Mm.
don't know if I'm laughing at it is because I'm laughing at them taking the Mickey off of modern Christianity. I
Yeah.
don't think that's the
Yeah.
case.
Mm.
But overall, I thought it was actually a really kind of fun film. Really
Mm.
thought provoking, especially in the later
Mm.
halves, because it's split into three
Oh, wow.
chapters. And when you get into that third chapter, it almost takes quite a tonal shift.
Yeah.
And that tonal shift, I did kind of felt it at the time was a bit of like a whoosh, you
Yeah, like
know.
a big tonal shift.
The
Yeah.
first sort of two tones of the first sort of two chapters are very much in the one tone, where
Mm,
I actually had this issue with Jojo Rabbit
mm. Oh
at the
yeah,
time,
yeah.
where I was
I can
always a
see
bit
what you
like
mean.
almost kind of whiplashed from that kind of major tone change. I didn't think
Yeah.
it had that much of a whiplash. I do think it was
Mm,
kind of like
okay.
sprinkled out, but that change
Yeah.
is still there. And I was a wee bit like, some of the editing, especially like the transitions. This is what I was talking about with Drive Away
Yeah.
Dolls a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
There's an editor out there that's just discovered transitions on PowerPoint and is loving them, and
Yeah.
they're getting hired everywhere. But no, overall,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
going to give it. I don't want to talk about it too much because I
Hmm.
think it
Hmm.
is really interesting to kind of
Hmm.
experience for yourself. If you're, if you're not a kind of religious person, or if you are faithful, I think this is a
Hmm.
good film to go and see. I'm going to give for
Hmm.
the Book of Clarence a really solid 7 out of 10. I
Wow. Okay.
I had
Okay.
no expectations walking into this film. Like I said, hadn't
Yeah.
seen a trailer. I would say it'd
Hmm.
probably help you not knowing what you're going to see, because
Hmm.
it's just an absolute kind of roller coaster of
Yeah.
everything.
I'm
And
intrigued now. This sounds
you honestly,
at the very least it sounds like a really interesting experience, like something very
you
new
know,
and very
you
different
you
and very
definitely
interesting.
feel that
Yeah.
later. Like I said, in that kind
Mm.
of third act, there's a major tonal
Mm.
change, and it does kind of get a wee bit more spiritual almost, which is all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is what I'm saying is that I think the people who left, I'm not saying I
Mm.
know why they left, but
Yeah.
the couple of times that, like I said, 7 people
Yeah.
left because I did count, and the
Like
second,
it's not,
the third and
yeah,
fourth
it's not
people left
shitting
after a
on
very specific scene.
religiousness.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
They left after a very specific scene or a very specific
Mm.
joke that made me
Mm.
felt that they were offended. Like they always felt like
Mm.
that's the cutoff. We're leaving.
Yeah.
So I can't
Yeah.
say it is for that case, but I really think if they stayed around to that third act, they would have probably
Mm.
gone, oh, okay.
So
But yeah, Book
overall,
of
it
Clarence,
does
7 out of
question like,
10.
yeah, so like overall it does question religion, but it isn't in like it doesn't treat spirituality as like a thing that you should be ashamed of
It's
or like
yeah.
treats it
I
with
will give
respect. Yeah.
to give a. I'm not going to give a spoiler in it, but
Yeah.
in the story, like
Mm.
Jesus is the Son of God. That
Yeah, okay.
is apparent. Like
Definitely.
miracles
Yeah.
are performed. There is no doubt about it. It's more
Mm.
Clarence's beliefs in this
Oh,
Messiah,
okay,
and
okay, okay,
almost to
okay,
see
okay.
like what would happen. So
Yeah, okay, okay, okay.
it's not
With
questioning. So like
Clarence,
it is very clear that it is, and
yeah.
miracles are happening. I can't. I'm not gonna say anymore. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna say
yeah, yeah.
anymore
Okay, okay,
because
okay. I will ask
I
one
can't.
last question. With Clarence being Thomas's brother, I do want to know for all my
Twin.
Catholic heads out there, do we get a recreation of the wound scene where he puts the finger in the wound or no?
No,
Damn it. Well,
no,
I don't know if I want to see it anymore then.
no. Well,
Uh,
it's interesting.
yeah.
I mean,
So
I'll talk
Jesus
about
doesn't
this
get
with you
fingered in
off.
this one. Yeah.
No, no, no. There'd be a lot
Okay.
more people leaving if that happened. But I'll talk to you
Yeah.
more about it after the show.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Because I want there's
Yeah.
an interesting scene that I
Hmm.
want to. Well, there's an interesting character thing I want to discuss.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not going to
okay.
talk about
Awesome.
that.
Sounds good though.
Anyway,
Sounds interesting. Okay,
that's the
now
Book of Clarence.
let's go to the big one that everyone's so excited to hear about and that I
The
believe you
Monsterverse.
thoroughly enjoyed. Yes. Yes.
Gonzalo, yes,
Yes.
last Sunday
Hmm.
I went to see Godzilla times Kong, the new
Yes.
Empire. I can tell you that math does not
Yes.
work out.
Okay.
Because
So
that's the
there's not a
Godzilla times
Kong number
Kong.
of Godzillas or a
No,
Godzilla number
no,
of Kongs. No.
no. There's just for me, there's just
Do
pure
they
sadness,
kiss?
to be honest.
Do they kiss? Because the
No,
X
well, to be
implies
honest,
kissing.
there's some scenes where they rumble around that you're like, could they have actually
Yeah.
kissed at that point? Who knows?
Interesting. Interesting.
Yes, anyway, let me kind
Yes.
of get into the facts here. So, Godzilla times Kong, The New Empire is a film directed by Adam Wingard, who
Hmm?
recently also directed Godzilla times Kong. No, sorry, Godzilla versus Kong. This is Godzilla times Kong. I am
Yeah,
so sorry.
yeah.
What is that?
No, that's okay. That was just really
Um,
funny. Yeah, it you just made it sound like that is literally the
yeah,
first movie he's ever directed. Just
I
really funny.
I don't love this guy. He
Yeah,
directed
yeah.
the 2017 Netflix Death Note adaptation. If you've seen it.
Oh, I don't like him. No,
I do not like him. I love Death Note.
yeah.
I love 75% of Death Note, the anime,
I
not
was
the
gonna
film.
say, I
Um,
was
we
gonna
all
say
every
I love some of Death Note.
if you
Yeah,
watch Death Note, you understand that reference.
yeah,
If you
yeah.
don't, you don't. So yes, so directed by Hannah Wingard, who's returning from directing Godzilla vs Kong. It came out in
Yeah.
2021,
Yeah.
2022, I think. Yeah, it was one
2022.
of those
Yeah.
first kind of post-pandemic. I know
Post-pandemic ones. No.
it was one of the, because it's Warner Brothers, and they did that day and day release where they put it on
Mm, yeah.
Max, which was horrific. So
Which was
starting
a
with
bad
it's
idea.
got a budget of 135 million. Pretty small for a big
Whew.
monster flick, by the way.
Yeah.
And
Goddamn.
as of
Did they
this
watch
moment,
Godzilla minus one and said, "Hey guys, we could do it with less"?
yeah. And at this moment, it has
Yeah.
grossed 209 million, and it's on its way
Mm,
up. I think it's like
mm.
highest weekend in this year,
Oh
beating
wow.
June by a couple of million.
Wow,
So
that's interesting.
we're probably gonna get a sequel. But anyway,
So
brief
I have a
synopsis.
question about the
Oh yeah,
Monsterverse specifically. Before you
oh
start with the
yeah.
review,
Ask away.
like, cause okay, so like we all grew up with the MCU in like its heyday. We all watched Avengers
Yes.
when we were like tweens, and then we just like completely bought into the Marvel MCU thing. Do you think there's a like audience for the Monsterverse? Because I know I'm not part of that
Yeah.
audience
They're
at
called
all.
children. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
okay,
Obviously.
okay.
No,
So
no,
no, but
because
like
obviously,
seriously, do we
I
have
think
like
there's the
a passionate fan base for the Monsterverse the same way there
well,
was for the
clearly
MCU?
they're making money.
Yeah, they're making money. That's what
Also,
I'm really
I've seen
surprised about. Yeah.
everything of the Monsterverse. Not that
Hmm.
I'm proud of that, but anyway,
Yeah.
a brief
Yeah.
synopsis of it before we get into the kind of returning characters is
Sounds so
after the
sad.
events of Godzilla versus Kong, where they defeated
Yes.
Mecha Godzilla, Kong now
Yes.
inhabits the Hollow Earth because there's that Hollow Earth, and
Cool.
Godzilla is the kind of king of
Oh,
the
like in
surface, kind of
do we get
protecting humanity from Titans. Okay,
okay? So
so
Godzilla's the king of the surface,
not
and
he's
is
not the
Kong
king
the
of the surface, but he's like
yeah?
he's in charge. He because they were like
He's
the
like
whole thing with
defender.
Godzilla versus Kong is like they were
Yeah.
two alpha creatures and they couldn't stand each other. The riz was too high.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay. And
but yes, we have
wait, so is
returning
Kong the king of the not
Hollow
surface,
Earth.
the Hollow Earth?
Yeah,
Is that what
but
Kong is
it's
the king
also
of?
got surface because there's the thing. Don't
Oh,
worry, Gonzalo, I'm gonna get into. We're gonna go full spoilers with this, by the way,
wait, do we get to
because
see any
I
of the
don't think
characters
it
from Ice
deserves.
Age 3? The one with the Hollow Earth?
No, but oh my
Damn
god,
it.
that would be great, wouldn't
That
it?
would have been
Anyway,
a.
let me
I would have
talk
gone
about the
seen it if
cast.
you said yes. Okay,
So
well, no
returning
chance.
from
Yes.
Godzilla
Yes.
versus Kong, we have Rebecca Hall and
Yes.
Brian Tyree Henry.
Who are they?
New and Kathleen Halty, who plays Gia, who is
Yeah.
Rebecca Hall's adopted
Daughter.
daughter that was
Okay.
part of the tribe on Skull Island. So she's got that kind of special connection with Kong.
Okay, I don't
She's like
remember a
she's like
tribe
the
kid in
last
Skull
remaining.
Island, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, and then new we have Dan Stevens as
Yeah.
Trapper, who is this vet for Kong. Anyway,
He's does he trap things or is that just his name?
I don't know. Right, I'm gonna get into this
Yeah.
Gonzalo because
Okay. Yeah.
this film gave
Are
me a
these human
headache.
characters? Okay, a thing. Okay, so with these kind of films, you usually have the two parallel stories. You have the giants fighting story, and then you have the parallel human story that's supposed to be like
Yes,
meaningful and stuff.
yes.
Are the human stories compelling at all?
Nah, I hated the
Okay,
human story. It's
okay,
weird, Gonzalo, because you know,
yeah.
has there ever been a monster film that's done a really solid human story? I mean, apart from
No.
Godzilla minus one, which did a fantastic human
Yeah,
story, which is always the
I'm
irony
trying to
here.
think.
Yeah.
An
So what
American
happens
production
is
that's done
Go-
that. I'm trying to think.
Godzilla.
I
So
know.
Godzilla. Yeah, Godzilla's kind of like hiding out in Hollow
Yeah.
Earth, and he's basically getting lonely
Hmm.
and sad because there's no other apes, and it's really upsetting. And one day
Okay.
he goes
So
and
he's the
he discovers
last
that
ape,
there's
the last big ape.
yeah, oh is he?
Yeah.
Because then he
Yeah.
discovers that there's a hollower Earth within Hollow Earth because that makes sense.
Okay.
And there he comes across. You've probably seen it in the trailer. Have you seen the trailer? Like little mini Kong, little mini
Yeah, yeah,
size
I've seen a baby
ape,
Kong. Yeah, I thought that was a
which
flashback.
is
Okay.
also giant. Also,
Yeah.
I will get into spoilers, but there is one of the funniest scenes I've seen ever
Hmm.
with Kong and that baby Kong, and I'll explain why in a
Yes.
few minutes. And
Oh my
basically,
god.
Kong finds that there is
Are we
other
gonna get
apes.
like a sitcom where Kong tries to be a parent, but he's a guy, so he doesn't know how to
Jesus,
do it?
honestly, there could be at this rate.
Oh, hell
So
yeah.
Kong
I'll
goes
watch that
down,
one.
and
Yeah.
there is another tribe of apes led by
Hmm.
um
Big Ape.
a bigger Scar. He's called the Scar King. He's the big
Scar
orangutan
King.
monkey,
Yeah, I saw that
right?
on the trailer.
Who
Yeah, 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 yeah,
who's
yeah.
kind
He's
of
like the
like
red guy.
who's
Yeah.
apparently been trapped down there, but
Mm,
he's not because there's also another tribe of people. Anyway, right, this film is
mm.
just the laziest writing I have ever seen in a film
Moonfall
at
levels or
all.
worse?
Pardon? Like, what did you
Moonfall
say?
levels or
Moonfall.
like levels?
It's on the
Yeah.
level of Moonfall. There is
Okay, okay, okay.
absolutely
Yeah.
levels of Moonfall writing
Okay.
here.
Question,
Nothing.
I don't know if this is explained at all, but you say there's a hollow earth and there's a hollower earth. So I'm
It's
guessing the hollow earth then doesn't have like opposite gravity to the outside, but it's like a
you've
smaller
never
circle.
seen. Have you seen the
No.
Hollow Earth? Because it's absolutely. I don't
There's
understand
several.
it.
There's
It
so many
doesn't make
different hollow earth
sense.
theories, so I don't fucking know. Like there's
No,
people who
this is
yeah.
absolutely mental. Anyway, so
Are the entrances of the
Kong
hollow
find
earth in the North and South Pole like in some of the conspiracy
no
theory guys think, or
no.
is it
It's
just like more
there's portals wherever it's
hmm.
convenient, really.
So more journey to the
Basically.
center of the earth kind of thing, like volcanoes lead
Yeah,
to the hollow earth kind of thing.
we're giving this film more credit than it deserves, even talking about that. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just
like,
trying to get the lore
I'm
down.
gonna
Yeah,
I'm gonna just kind of give off some thoughts here.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yes,
the
yeah,
humans go down because
yeah. Why?
Gia has some sort of weird connection to
Yeah.
something in Hollow
She's the
Earth.
kid,
So
the
she's the
island
kid,
kid,
yeah.
right?
She's the kid
Yeah,
from the
island
Skull Island.
kids.
They go
Yeah.
down and they're basically following Kong, and they find this
Hmm.
kind of settlement that have been
Hmm.
sending a signal up to the Earth to call for help because they think that this
What
big
do you mean
monkey
by a
is trying to take them.
signal?
Like
Like a techie
radar.
signal?
I
Like a
don't actually know.
okay, or
Um,
is it like a psychic
and
signal?
yeah, and you're gonna love this in a minute because it even gets more
Yeah.
Deus Ex.
Okay. Yeah.
And apparently Godzilla knows this signal, and he's been like
Yeah.
prepping upstairs. Godzilla
Oh,
is the
okay.
secondary character in this, by the way. It is very much a Kong
Oh.
film, and
Oh.
Godzilla is secondary. He's up
Why didn't they
on
call
Earth.
it Kong Defenders of
I
Godzilla
don't
or
think it would
something?
bring money. I don't think it would bring as much hype to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we end up then having Godzilla on the top. His little
Yeah.
story arc is going to kind of like power himself up for this major fight.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Kong's on the Hollow Earth,
Yeah.
doing his little dad trip with his little monkey pal, taking him back to
Wait,
Scar King.
is that why Godzilla's pink now? Is that a power up
Yeah,
thing?
Godzilla gets pink from powering up by
Oh.
killing
See,
something
that's the one
else.
thing I really like about the movie. I think it looks really good in pink. Um,
It's good design.
yeah.
But so where this film falls
Yeah.
apart in
Mm.
well, a lot of departments is I also
Yeah.
really do think, and I
Mm.
know Lewis, if Lewis is here and he's probably screaming right now as I say this,
Mm.
Rebecca Hall. I know I always joke about Rebecca Hall and how I don't like her, but she is
Yes.
phoning it in. She's 100%
Okay.
phoning in for this film, no matter. And I'm gonna have to give her credit. She did The Night House, and she was fantastic in that movie. So I
Yeah.
can say she is phoning it in this film.
So she
Almost all
does
the
know
other
how
ones
to
are.
act. She just didn't in this
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
it's there's a great aspect when you're watching this, and it's like some of
Yeah.
them almost feel like they know they're in that movie. Like some of them
Mm.
can be like Deadpool, like they know it's ridiculous and they know it's
Mm.
happening, and it's like all this
Mm.
kind of stupid little things.
Yeah.
So and you get then like Rebecca Hall's like, I'm very serious, and then she's like, you should be glad that Godzilla tore apart Rome and saved you. There have been so many more people dead. And I'm like, he
Yeah.
probably killed millions or hundreds of
Yeah.
thousands. But anyway,
Yeah.
where this film falls apart, like I said, there is really Deus Ex Machina story. I'm going to go into spoilers because there are some things in this that honestly destroyed my brain.
Okay. I have
So
one big
Mothra
question
comes
because the
back.
trailer.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Mothra's back. Okay.
Oh yeah. Would you like to know how Mothra comes back?
Do I want to know?
You
Does
would
she
love to
just
know
lay
this.
an
So
egg and then there's a new Mothra? I
no,
hope that's the answer.
it would be better if there was an egg, Gonzalo. It would
Yeah.
make so much more sense if there was an egg.
Yeah. No. So
Apparently,
the power of love.
the Iwi tribe in Hollow Earth had a
Yeah.
prophecy that an
Wait, there's
an Iwi
humans
member
in
from
the.
the Skull Island tribe would come
Yeah.
and summon back Mothra. And I'm like, well, luckily we
How?
have the only surviving tribe
Yeah.
member with us. And then they go, like, you have to go and touch this giant, like this thing. And she goes
Yeah.
up and touches it. Then I shit you not, Mothra appears within thin air.
Oh, okay.
just like that. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense, people. You can't
Okay.
just like, making it
Couldn't
a
they have
wee
had,
egg.
because like, I mean, it seems more reasonable to have like just Mothra eggs
An
in
egg.
the,
Oh,
yeah, just
you
like,
just said
oh, I
it's
mean, you could
Mothra
be like,
too.
oh, the tribe was like, worshipped the Mothra egg, and
Oh,
it's
it's like
like
seeing
maybe
Jaws
even
2,
have
3, and 4. You're
like a
like,
thing where
it's
it's
not the
like,
same
oh,
shark.
like the girl touching it
Yeah,
awakens the egg, and then suddenly we hatch a
I
new
know,
Mothra
but
or something.
literally,
I don't know.
Mothra actually just appears in thin air, and I
Doesn't
almost
need to be
just
the same Mothra. Like, it's not
I
like
had a
we had a
headache
voice
from that.
actor for Mothra that we wanted to
Exactly.
bring back, right?
So anyway, moving on from
Yeah,
that,
okay.
Mothra comes back
Could you
just out
explain the
thin
robot
air.
arm? Could you explain the robot arm?
Ah,
Because
yes. So,
King Kong has a
oh,
robot arm.
this
Does he lose
I
his
have
arm
to.
in a previous movie? And this is
No,
the
right.
no.
Let me
Okay.
explain. So
Mm-hmm.
when
Yeah.
Kong goes down to Scar King's domain in this
Yes.
lava, that he got trapped there by Godzilla years ago, so they did a bit of
Okay.
exposition, which doesn't really matter.
Okay.
He's got uh an ice dragon that very much resembles. Have you ever seen the
Yeah.
third How to Train Your Dragon?
No. I've only
Have you ever
watched the
seen the
first two.
female? Have you ever seen the female counterpart of
Yes. 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 Yes.
Toothless? The kind
Toothless.
of
Yeah.
white
Yeah.
and blue vibe.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Imagine that, but
Yeah.
Godzilla side, and it's like an ice
Oh,
dragon.
okay. Oh, okay.
He basically gets frostbite on his arm because the ice dragon blew it. Because the ice dragon's been
Okay.
controlled by Scar King with a magical thing. I'm not
Okay.
entirely sure how they're getting controlled, but it's like
Okay.
Scar King ripped off one of the dragon thing's tail.
Scales or
It
something?
has a
Yeah.
name, but I don't actually know. And I
Yeah.
and I don't care.
Okay.
Shamu?
See, when I saw the robotic arm in the trailer, that seemed like a cool thing that was like, hey, in the last movie, Godzilla sacrificed it, like, sorry, Kong
But
sacrificed his arm. So now in this one, they've been building him a
no,
new mechanic arm
no,
between movies. Okay.
no.
Well, that would have been
Basically,
cool.
So he gets
So it's
damaged.
just in the same, it's just in this movie.
His right arm gets damaged from the
Yeah.
frostbite,
Yeah.
and they come in, and obviously the team are in Hollow Earth, and they're like, "Oh,
Hmm.
his arm." Well, actually,
Yeah.
luckily, that after the events of Godzilla fighting Kong, we
Yeah.
felt that Kong got beaten in that, and that he needed an upper hand. So we started developing an exosuit. But the budget
Okay.
got cut, so all we managed to make was his right arm. And you're like, oh, brilliant. And then they're like, oh, and luckily it's in Hollow Earth. So I shit you not,
Wait.
there's like a
Wait.
mini
Wait. What?
Iron Man
Wait. Yeah.
nanotechnology esque like suit up scene with this arm, and then he goes, oh, luckily the arm thing comes with medicine that will heal his frostbite. I'm like, oh, isn't that lucky, guys? Isn't it? So
What?
then
Really?
he just gets this
No.
iron. Honest, no, hundred
No.
percent. They went
Yeah.
right. We're making Godzilla purple to sell new toys. We need to give
Yeah.
Kong
Kong
something to sell
something.
new
Yeah.
toys.
But
Um,
couldn't they have? I don't know. I would have made it like I would have built a time jump into the building the arm thing. Like have him
nah, they're like, it happened in
like
between
think
films.
about it and
It's
like it would have
and
been
very
awesome
luckily
if
it's about 5 minutes away from us, and we can just
oh
go pick it up, bring it.
see
But I
I
want to,
didn't watch Godzilla versus Kong, so I was just
yeah.
assuming oh
No,
that was a
no,
cool movie
he
where
didn't lose his
Godzilla
arm.
loses his arm sorry, Kong loses his arm to
Kong.
Godzilla, maybe to like a hyper beam of Godzilla
So
or some shit, and it's like,
yes,
oh, that's so cool.
that would work. Anyway, so to go kind of
That's
further
so
more,
stupid. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
what was I gonna say? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'll
It's a
give them
good
credit,
movie.
right?
It sounds like a
There
good
are
movie.
like there is maybe like almost like a 10
Yeah.
10 to 17 minute sequence
Yeah.
of just Kong and these apes, and
Yeah.
I have to give him credit, Adam, that he
That's the
gets the
best part.
communication across
Yeah.
very well with no
Mhm.
vocals and no like sign language. Like I'm actually like purely by the facial expressions at times, it
Yeah.
was I could understand what was happening.
Do
That's
you
as much
think
credit I'm
these
going to give him
movies would
right
be
now.
better if there weren't any human characters?
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
don't know because
I don't
it
know.
doesn't
I'm
make
asking.
sense. It's like you're just
Yeah.
watching stuff happen, but I think you need to have good human characters, like we
Yeah.
saw. And I mean, I'll get onto this when we talk about the Monsterverse as a whole.
Mm.
That the
Mm.
Monarch TV show has really great human characters, and
Yeah.
it had time to set up these human characters, and then if you brought them into the movies, it would work. Anyway, I want
Yeah.
to go on to something that really bugged me during this film.
Hmm.
is in the Hollow Earth,
Yes.
they really suffer from a Quantum Mania esque thing when scale means fuck all,
Oh
right?
no. Oh no.
When
Yeah.
you have these Titan characters in an environment
Yeah.
that doesn't actually have anything to show their scale, then there's
Yeah.
nothing
They
to
look
show me how
tiny.
big they are.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
You know, this is the issue that,
Yeah. Do they not have
Godzilla's
like normal
seems
sized animals running throughout the Hollow Earth
no,
so you
no,
can
no, they're
feel how
all
huge they
Titan
are?
size.
And they don't do the thing that I love from Pacific Rim, where the camera's always in the ground or in a helicopter,
Yeah,
so it feels like
no,
they're big. Oh, they just do
no.
CG camera, don't they? Just like the CG
These
camera just
in
flying
the
about
Hollow Earth,
everywhere.
there's just CG
Mm.
animals. They're just CG creatures.
But you can
Um,
ground the camera, even if you're shooting CG animals, you can
that's the
shoot it
I
as
know
if you
that's
were
the thing,
shooting it.
and it really annoyed me. They
Ah,
they save it because the final fight.
mm,
So right, end
mm,
fight. By the way, Godzilla times Kong. They
yeah,
do not get meet up until the final 15-20 minutes. Just
okay,
saying that. Don't get your expectations high. It is not a bloody cop film. They are barely in it together.
yeah.
And
It's a Kong movie with Godzilla
yeah,
as the
Godzilla,
climax.
Godzilla and
Yeah,
Kong kind of meet up uh, at the
mm,
pyramids. They have a wee fight,
yeah,
and then Mothra appears, and Mothra's like, "Hey, Godzilla, chill." And Godzilla's like, "I'm chill, thank
okay.
you, Mothra," because they have that weird relationship. So then what happens is
Yeah,
Godzilla, Kong, and Mothra go down to fight the Scar King and his
yeah,
little um, remote controlled ice dragon, and it
okay.
starts off in the Hollow Earth, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Why have four
So,
giant titans fight in something that I cannot tell you that they
yeah,
are
they're
giants?
giant titans. Yeah.
It
So
does,
the
like I'll
the
quickly say, it
plot
does jump.
is
They do come out to Brazil at the end where they are in
okay.
a city, and I'm like, for
Okay.
about 4 minutes, just saying, 4 minutes, and I'm like, right, okay,
So
right,
the antagonist per se of the movie is the Scar King, then, right?
the big orangutan monkey who
Yeah.
needs the remote controlled ice dragon because he is actually quite useless. Because the other
Oh,
two are
okay.
just quite strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Is that why they give
bad.
him a remote control ice dragon?
Yeah, I think
You
that's why they
think?
give a remote control ice
They were
dragon.
in the
He
writer room
also
and they were
wants
like
to.
one big
He also
monkey
starts.
versus
He
yeah.
also starts the ice dragon to turn it into
Hmm.
a an ice age. And I'm like,
Oh.
if I had a nickel for every time I watched a
Oh,
film,
for
and in
every
the
time.
last 5 minutes
Yeah. Yeah,
something
they
starts to
turn
create a
into
new
an
ice
ice
age,
age. Yeah,
I'd
you'd
have
had two
two.
nickels. It's not a
Which isn't
lot, but
enough, which
it's
is a
weird
lot,
that it
but it's
happened
weird it's
twice.
happened twice. And then I'll tell you something. If I had a
Yeah.
nickel for any film that had an Ice Age thing at the end of it, that then just weirdly, abruptly end with no
Yeah.
setup, I had two nickels. So yeah,
It's
and
not a
it just
lot.
does that. Like they defeat the
Yeah.
well, they actually no, they barely even defeat it.
Yeah.
The Diddy Kong Jr. comes in, breaks the remote control, and
Okay.
then the dragon's like, "Oh, I'm not under control. I'm gonna kill the Scar King now." And they do it, and then
Okay.
it's like, "Okay, cool, we're all gonna go," and then that's the end of the
Okay.
film. That's literally it. Literally
And
it.
the ice dragon just fucks off into the ice world of ice.
I don't know. There's no Ice World. There is no Ice World.
Okay. So where does he go?
We
Does he
haven't
just
seen.
go back
They.
home?
I don't know, and I don't know what Kong's doing. I don't know what Godzilla's doing. I don't really know what
Hmm.
Mothra's doing.
Do you think they added the ice
No,
dragon
wait, no,
because
no,
then
sorry,
it's
sorry, no. I tell a lie.
yeah,
Kong
yeah.
did go back to that tribe and is now going to lead them as his new king.
Oh, okay.
King Kong.
So he's gonna
Yeah.
be the king of the underworld now.
Yeah, maybe. It
Was he
doesn't really
not the
explain
king?
it.
Was
Not much
not
is
Godzilla the
explained.
king of the surface world and then Kong the king of
Well, the
the
Godzilla's not really the
under?
king of the surface world. He's just the one up there, like making sure the
Yeah.
Titans stay in the Hollow Earth, and if they come out, he just beats them to oblivion or
Wait, the
kills them.
Titans come from the Hollow Earth? I thought they came from
Yes, I think
space.
so. I'm not that. No, they don't come from space.
Ah, okay. Well, that's sad. I like
That
space
is
more.
Pacific Rim. You may be
Oh,
getting a bit
that's Pacific
confused.
Rim.
You may
I've
be
only
getting a
seen
bit confused
Skull
with
Island,
Pacific
so
Rim.
I
Anyway,
all I know is from the trailers. Okay, so
yeah.
they come from the Hollow
Overall,
Earth.
like,
Wait, so it's the Hollow Earth is just full with fucking titans,
yeah, basically, and kind of like weird creatures.
and if
I would say
they're
you really
fighting
should watch these
through,
films, but you
yeah,
shouldn't.
If
Anyway,
they're
I'll come
fighting
on to that
through
from
the
now on,
Hollow
okay?
Earth, do we just get to see Kong just like fighting like an army of Titans? Because they all live there, right?
Well, you're asking too many questions that clearly they've not thought about.
I don't know.
Okay?
I'm wondering. I
Or
haven't
maybe
seen.
some of the creatures have been hibernating. I don't know.
Maybe
I
I
don't
don't know.
really care. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, Kong, Godzilla times
The
Kong, a new
dinosaurs.
empire. It's it's
Hmm.
lazy writing,
Okay.
lazy writing.
Hmm.
Mediocre acting for most parts.
Hmm.
I would say even the creatures are probably the best acting. CGI,
Yeah.
especially on Godzilla, can get a bit
Hmm.
ropey, and I've got a grievance with this
Hmm.
because the TV show I think does Godzilla better than
Hmm.
this.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
is an Apple TV show though, so
Probably
let's just
just
have a
a
look at this. Right,
rushed
a billion.
production, honestly. Probably they just
Yeah, I
pushed
would say
the VFX artist to just
Kong.
finish it.
Kong looks
Yeah.
great. Kong does look
Mm,
great. The
mm,
facial expressions on him are solid. It is
yeah.
very much a Kong film, which I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't care because I'm more of a
Yeah.
Godzilla fan. The
Yeah.
all the Hollow Earth stuff really
Mm,
bugs me, and I can understand
mm.
it's just for them. It's almost a cost savings. I imagine them making this CGI world is actually cheaper for them going on site and
Yeah.
filming.
Yeah.
The action when it does happen, some of it's good. The
Mm,
the wee Kong versus Godzilla fight that happened at the pyramids was fun because I'm like, at least I can see their scale. Anything that
okay.
happens
Yeah.
on the Hollow Earth gets just a -1 because you don't understand the
Yeah.
scale of the size. It's gonna get a 4 out of 10, and I feel that's being
Oh
generous.
wow. Okay.
If I was
That's
to
not good.
rewatch it, it'd drop, but I'm not rewatching this film ever again.
I might have to actually catch up on these films because I have more questions than I have answers now. I don't understand them or the world that
Right,
they're
here's the big
setting
point.
up.
Well, so
Yeah.
that's the review for
Does
Godzilla
Monarch
times
explain
Kong.
the Inside Earth better or
Yeah, right. So,
yeah,
right, breaking down the MonsterVerse, we've had
Monsterverse. Yeah.
Godzilla 2014, which was the first one
Yes.
to come out. We then had Kong
Brian
Skull Island
Cranston
in
is barely
20.
in this one. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
barely in this one as well. We had Kong Skull Island in
Yeah, that's the one
2017,
I saw. That's Miss
which I
Marvel and
really
Loki fighting
quite
Kong.
liked that. Yeah,
I
as
thought
well
that
as
was good.
Samuel
I thought it was
Jackson
pretty decent.
and
It wasn't like
who else is in that film? John Goodman.
revelatory or anything, but it was fun and it was decent
No, it had that
and
cool
Kong didn't fall in
Vietnam
love with
theme to it.
anyone, so that was good. Yeah.
He did not. I
Yeah.
actually quite like Kong Skull Island. I actually quite like the first Godzilla, even though it's not the
Yeah.
best. But I think
I haven't seen that one. I need
the
to.
way Gareth Edwards kind of introduces Kong in it, and it's kind of his
Hmm.
scale and stuff, and it was
I
really
really
great.
like the way they make it like very like reminiscent of the whole Vietnam kind of like movie style kind of thing.
Yeah,
The cinematography I
that
think is
that
really
that
good.
I did enjoy. We
Yeah.
then had
So I had fun
Godzilla
with that
King
one.
of the Monsters,
Yes. Well,
which
how is that the one where he goes against the three-headed gold dragon?
yeah, Ghidorah, King Ghidorah,
Ghidorah, King Ghidorah. Okay.
I
We get
It
Mothra in that
made
one,
me.
don't we?
Yes, that's the first time we get Mothra,
Okay.
and the big raptor one that I can't remember his name. Rodan.
Oh yeah, Rodan. I thought he was a
Rodan. Yes.
pterodactyl.
Oh, he is.
Pterodactyl,
Yes, no,
pterodactyl.
pterodactyl, not raptor. Raptors are the
Oh, okay,
creatures.
okay.
Yeah,
He's
he's a
like the
flying one.
lava. Okay, okay. He's like the lava
Yeah,
pterodactyl. Okay, okay, okay.
sorry, I don't know that.
So we get like two
Um,
bad guys, two good guys. You basically get King Ghidorah
yeah,
and Rodan, and then you get
the
Mothra and Godzilla.
yeah,
Okay.
that film has a lot of problems. I actually have to say that I
Yeah.
quite enjoyed the human story of that because I thought it was quite
Okay.
interesting and conflicting. Not the best.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't make the best money wise. Actually, I think it
Oh,
made
okay.
in total about under 400 million, and it
I
came out in
remember being in
2019.
Glasgow. No, okay,
It was
nice.
not
Yeah.
affected by
No, no, no pandemic, no nothing. No, I
COVID
was in Glasgow when
COVID
that
at all.
came
How
out.
much
I
did
thought of
Skull
going to
make?
see it, and then I thought no. Uh,
Kong Skull Island made 568 million,
oh wow.
and then obviously it's kind of hard. Then we had Godzilla versus Kong in
Do you think that's why this one
2021.
is Godzilla X Kong? Because the last time they did a Godzilla solo one, it did so poorly. They're like, hey, we need
Well, this
the
isn't even a Godzilla
marketability.
solo one. This is
No,
a
yeah.
Kong sequel, if anything.
No, no, I know,
I
but
don't know.
like
I think
because yeah, because the
they
previous
had to
Godzilla
market
King of
to them
Monsters did
both,
so bad.
and I think they'll
Yeah.
struggle. I don't know
Mm.
what they're gonna do in the future because I really think you need to have these guys separate and keep them separate. Anyway, I want to
In order to
quickly.
actually make compelling stories, yeah.
Yeah, because I think it works better. Anyway, I'm going to quickly
Mm.
discuss Monarch, Legend
Yes.
of Monsters, which
Yeah. So
was
this is a
a
TV
10
show, right?
episodes.
Yeah.
This is a TV show, Apple TV.
Is it
Aired in
self-conclusive or is it like season one of many?
right. It's fairly
Mm.
self-conclusive in the story, but it does
Yeah.
kind of
But it
very
opens
much
up.
kind of end. It doesn't end on a
Yeah.
cliffhanger, but it opens up to the possibility of a
Possibilities.
season two.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I would love a season two because I thought
Mm.
it was incredible. I
Okay.
really,
Yeah.
really, really enjoyed this film. Um,
Mm.
the
For
one of the
sure.
best parts of this film, Goodfellow, is
Yeah.
that we have a Kurt Russell plays Lee Shaw, a former
Oh.
U.S. Army colonel, and this TV show is set in two different time
Yeah.
periods. We have
Okay. Okay. I like
2014,
that.
just
Yeah.
after the Godzilla attack. So this film kind of takes place just after
Yeah. The first
the
Godzilla
original,
movie, right?
the first Godzilla, not the original, and
Yeah.
very much deals with the aftermath and everybody's kind of fear of these titans.
Mm. Mm.
And we kind of follow um, Kate 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 Rada, who is a San Francisco
Yeah.
school teacher who's coping with
Yeah.
PTSD because she was on that bridge. If you
Mm.
don't know
Okay.
it, if you know it, you know it.
No.
And
Yeah.
basically, her father
Mm.
worked for Monarch and
Mm.
goes missing.
Mm.
And with the help of her newly discovered half brother
Mm.
in Tokyo,
Mm.
her and her brother basically go on a search to find their missing dad to get
Mm.
answers from Monarch, and in turn work with Kurt Russell's Lee Shaw, who was a friend to their grandmother, one of the founding members of Monarch. Now,
Okay. Please
I'll leave
tell
it
me
at
there's a
that.
shot of Kurt
But
Russell in the snow. Please
there
tell
is
me we
a
get it.
Kurt Russell's in the snow. Don't worry, you guys in
Hell
the
yeah.
snow.
Hell yeah.
But I
Happy.
want to tell you something
Yes.
that I thought
Mm.
was genius
Mm.
from Apple, and I'm actually
Yeah.
really glad it happened. We
Mm.
have, so like I said, two time periods. We have one from 2014 and we have one from the 50s, kind of 40s,
Mm.
50s
Okay.
era.
Yeah.
And Lee Shaw is
Because
present
in
in
the
both of
Kong
them.
Skull Island one, we do have Monarch already as a thing because it's the
Yes,
organization that's
so
sending the
John Goodman's
expedition.
character from
Mm. Oh,
Kong
okay.
Skull Island
Yeah, from
is
Skull
in this.
Island. Yeah.
He's
Okay.
played
Okay.
by, I can't remember who plays him. Let me
Mm.
check. Uh, Anders Holm, who you'll probably know best from Workaholics, if you've ever seen
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah.
He plays a younger version of John Goodman's character,
Oh, that's fun.
who's best friends with Lee Shaw, Kurt Russell's character. But like I said, the best part is the younger
Yeah.
version of Kurt Russell's character is played by his son, Wyatt Russell.
Oh, damn. Okay, that's good casting. That's
Brilliant.
good casting right there.
That is,
Does
if
he do?
that is not
How
enough
good a
to
job does
sell
he
you on
do?
this
Because,
show,
yeah.
they are brilliant. It is like,
Okay. Okay.
so good. It
That's
is
really
so
good.
clever. That kind of first scene where they kind of transition from Wyatt's face into
Yeah.
Kurt Russell's face, and you're like,
Mm.
well, if people didn't, pick up on
Mm.
that, it's amazing. But there's one thing that kind of annoys me
Yeah.
with this show, and this is a big thing that we are seeing more and more with studios
Mm.
that are having these kind of expanded universes, and
Mm.
that is the lack of communication or planning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this was a big
100%.
issue that I was talking about when I reviewed the Marvels way back in November after
Mm.
the abysmal show of Secret Invasions and
Mm.
how
Mm.
Nick Fury's character was meant to be going forward versus what we
Mm.
got. This
Mm.
is also a really example of that, where Monarch Legendary Monsters introduces the Hollow Earth and introduces a great kind of
Mm.
context into it,
Mm.
but it introduces like a whole time dilation where
Mm.
time is slower in the Hollow Earth. So you could be in
Which
there
makes sense
for
because you're
a couple of
closer to a
weeks,
gravitational
yeah,
center. Yeah.
and you come out and it's been a couple of months, even a year.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
maybe could be a mild spoiler for the show. Sorry, I shouldn't have said
Yeah.
that. Maybe that
I'm
is.
guessing it's a way to preserve a character alive for like from one
Yes,
generation to the other
but
kind of thing.
this is
Yeah.
also then kind of what annoys
It's
me
gonna make it
is I
interesting.
thought it worked really well in telling the story presented
Mm.
in Monarch Legacy of
Mm.
Monsters.
Mm.
And like I said, we are present. Godzilla shows up a couple of times through the show, and he looks great.
Mm.
and there's also a couple
mm,
other monsters, and they look great.
mm,
I don't
mm,
know what the budget was for the show. It doesn't say.
mm.
Could be in the billion. No, I'm joking. It's not in the billions, but it was very well done, very well made. I
Probably just not as
really,
rushed.
really. It
Yeah.
also it does locations because we're in Japan, we're in San Francisco.
Mm, mm.
They go to
That's the thing
places.
that I absolutely adored about the Andor show, and it really, really like shows compared
Yeah.
to the other Star Wars shows we've gotten. Like whenever you do locations, it just feels so much more real. Like wow. Like
Yeah.
the whole digital LED screen thing was good when you know how to use it, and outside of the director for season one of Mandalorian, no one seems to know what the fuck they're
No,
doing with
no,
the volume.
that's.
So yeah.
I remember they talking about that, saying it would be good when it's used correctly, but people haven't been.
Mm.
Anyway, this
You
one annoys me
don't.
then when
Yeah.
we kind of see the Hollow Earth in the Monsterverse, how it's just used
Mm.
so like
Yeah.
mundane and kind of
Because
like
again, like the whole size thing you were talking about,
oh,
like Pacific Rim does a fantastic job with that. Most of what you're seeing is
and
CGI.
I'm
Like
letting you say that because I can't
it's
argue with Pacific
yeah,
Rim
but
at
you
the
can
moment.
argue against it. The size, like the way they showcase size with the giant robots and the giant monsters, is perfect and fantastic. The way the camera
Yep.
moves as if it were a real, like they tried to think about how they would be able to position a camera in the space that they're using. They use lens distortions and things to try to make things look as physically there as possible. Most of what you're seeing when they attack Tokyo and like that scene is completely CGI. But even when they're fighting in the middle of the ocean, you still feel the
Yeah.
scale. They put the effort into putting like a little boat there and showing you shots from the point of view of the sailors as the mech rises from the ocean. So you're like, holy shit,
Oh,
this
a
is
hundred
big.
percent. And
They put the effort into moving them slowly, like gigantic as
that
things
another
rather
right.
than, yeah.
You,
Hmm.
I'll say this: there is that
It's
famous scene in
important,
the
man.
trailer where Godzilla
Yeah.
and King Kong are sprinting, and
Yes.
I
They should not be
remember
sprinting.
in that first
Yeah.
2014 Godzilla film, there's that
Yeah.
amazing scene of him like slowly walking
Mm,
through that airport, and
mm,
that is again shown in Godzilla minus one.
yeah.
Where have you seen that? Have you seen it? Did you see
I've
Godzilla
seen the
minus one?
trailer for. I haven't seen it yet. No, I've seen
Oh,
the trailer though,
oh,
and it is in the
you need to
trailer.
see
Yeah,
that bad boy. That does it
yeah,
also
yeah.
great. Like you said, like there are shots when they're on the boat firing at him, and it's
Mm,
from that perspective, and you see the size. He's so
mm,
much slower because he's this kind of giant. In
yeah.
that film, he's like
And
mutated. He's not like
again,
an ancient
you're
creature.
yeah, you're taking it completely out of that. That's fine. You're grabbing this Godzilla and this King Kong and putting them in like a underworld kind of thing with
Yes.
rocks and crystals and whatever the fuck it has. I don't remember the trailer that much. I'm guessing it's rocks and crystals and shit.
It's
Maybe there's
you're
jungles.
not
I
you're
don't know.
not wrong actually.
Yeah. But even then, what you need to do is remember the size you're working with. Like, you get films like Jurassic Park with the classic, like, earth trembling when the fucking T Rex comes in, you know? Like, the idea of,
Yeah,
like, you have to show that
there's
weight.
that
Weight is
lacking
so
there.
much. Weight is so much. Like, there's this fantastic video analyzing the animations for the Shadow of the Colossus game. I don't know if you know about this game. You're
Oh
basically
yeah, no, I
fighting
I
these.
played Shadow
Yeah,
Colossus. It is brilliant.
classic PS4 game. So PS3, sorry. So this game basically, the way it moves the camera around while you're encountering these things just enhances the scale of them. But even that taken out, the way these
Mhm.
things move, the way they walk, the way they slowly raise their hands and then crash them back down, the way
Yeah.
every time they take a step, everything trembles. Like, it just shows that size, that huge size that they have. Like, even some of the smaller beasts that move
What a
faster
great!
still
Oh,
have that
you
weight to
honestly,
them, you know?
you're
It's a good
making me
game.
want to replay that game now. It's a
Yeah,
great game,
it's a
Shadow
real good
Colossus.
game. It's a real
So
good
yeah,
game.
this
It's
is where
basically a
like
boss rush game. But yeah,
yeah, it's almost like the
yeah.
opposite issue of like Ant Man, where it's like you're
Hmm.
going from
Hmm.
struggling of making a character seem small to struggling to make a character look
Yeah.
big.
Big, yeah.
I don't know what the future of this franchise is.
Hmm.
Adam
Which is
Wingard
annoying
seems to
because
be kind
Ant
of
Man 1 and Ant Man 2 did such a good job with the size. Like,
yeah.
you
Well,
can't say
yeah,
a
I
lot
know.
that's
I'm
wrong
saying
with
that
those
like
movies.
um
But yeah.
Kong One, Kong
Hmm.
Skull Island did a great job
Yeah,
with
it did
that
a
kind of
really
size
good
scale.
job. that scene
I
with the
even say that
helicopters, like that was fantastic.
Godzilla versus Godzilla versus
Mm,
Kong did a great job.
yeah.
You had that
Mm,
boat scene, which was brilliant, and
mm,
it really got
mm,
the scale of Kong on the boat. And then it's just the two of them fighting. Obviously, physics doesn't
yeah.
work like that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
a great use of scale. The future of this franchise, Gonzalo, I think, is going to end up being.
Yeah.
I want them to follow this silly route because I
Mm,
think that's the only way it can survive.
yeah.
Is that they really embrace it now. I genuinely think
Yeah.
it is. I don't think I will enjoy them, but for the
Yeah.
film, I think that's where they're gonna go. And the thing
I'd
is,
enjoy them
see
if
over
they
like
went more
East,
Sentai with
see over
this.
like a Easter weekend, taking your kids,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "Oh yay,
Mm,
Godzilla and Kong are teaming up." They don't realize
mm,
it's not in the last 20 minutes because their little minds are
mm.
so fried, and they're like, "Oh, it was the whole thing. They were together."
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
about it.
That's
And honestly, I think
disappointing. That's disappointing.
that'll probably wrap up
Yeah.
today because I'm emotionally and mentally
Yeah.
torn now
Drained.
from speaking
I
about
want to
that.
say
But
a great example of how to do size and how not to do size that is really easily comparable. Uh, it's the Pacific Rim 1 versus Pacific Rim 2. That's like a
I've not.
brilliant
Oh
side
wait,
by side
no.
comparison of how not to do size
I've
and
no.
how
I
to do
have seen
size.
both. I have seen both. I can't
Yeah, the
remember them
second
to
one
be
just
honest.
feels like Iron Man. It's really bad.
Did
It's really bad how
did
they do that.
did Guillermo del Toro come back for the second one?
No, no, he did not. And also, they
That
made Charlie
explains
Day
it.
bad for that one for some reason. It was
Hmm.
really silly. But
But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
Hmm.
that was. I mean, next week on the show,
That was your
I have
sanity.
no idea.
Yeah,
I have no idea what's the next week, to be honest, because that's not my department.
I don't
I
know
will
either,
have
but it's fine.
seen.
Yeah.
I am seeing the new Civil War film coming out.
Okay. Yeah.
The A24 Civil War film coming out. I'm seeing that next
Mm,
Tuesday. So if it's post
cool.
next Tuesday, I'll be talking about that. If not, I have no
Nice.
idea what we're talking about.
I don't
But yeah,
remember either. Lewis will get mad at us because he's written up a schedule.
as we
He
just
sent it
refused.
once,
Yeah,
and
you refused
I
it.
just
He
lost
usually gives
this.
me some heads up. But yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
that was the Book of Clarence. Go see that if you
Yeah.
get a chance. And also Godzilla, Times Kong, The New Empire, and the
Yeah.
Monsterverse
Stay home, watch
in
Monarch on
total.
Apple TV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, please do. So yeah, we
Yeah.
gave reviews for all. I gave reviews for all that. Gonzalo gave opinions. But as we know, at the day,
Unwanted
those
opinions.
were our unwanted opinions. Thank you very much.
There we go.